Hello, this is Tony,
And this is Rico.
and this is Relatively Sound, the podcast where the Martians could do better than we've done. Now, today, I'm going to give Rico an album that is still somewhat new to me. I've been listening to it probably over the last little less than a year, maybe. But it's mostly been one I've just been throwing on kind of at night while I'm doing stuff, and it just rocks out. I'm a big fan of it. I don't know the words like front and back or anything like that. So maybe I'm not an expert here, but I'm just someone that's really into this right now. And Rico, I hope you can get down with it at least a little bit. I know the last album I gave you wasn't too successful with more of the kind of garage rock kind of vibe.
There are
This one's,
two songs from that album I will take away.
hey, that's better than none, right? So the album here, any guesses of what it may be?
Well, because you brought up the name Mike Watt, I'm thinking of something related to him, but I don't know much about him, so I'm assuming it's one of his
Me
bands.
neither. So this band here is Porno For Pyros. And the album
okay.
is Porno For Pyros. And the second song on the record is Porno For Pyros. 3 for 3. Yeah, so my friend Steven, he was actually playing, he played the song Pets by them, which I guess made it number 3 on the top 200 Billboard at the time. And I was like, damn, this is a good song. And he was like, dude, I'm surprised you don't know more about them. Like, they're kind of right up your alley. And damn, he was right.
So,
I've heard their other albums, and I like them too, but this is kind of the first one I heard, so I feel like you should hear it as well.
this is the Jane's Addiction side band, right?
Yes, yes. So it's got Perry as well as I believe the same drummer. I'll double check that here. I do like Jane's Addiction as well, but I'm not the biggest expert either. I know a couple of their records. My boy Isha and I are always jamming "Stop" because that's just a badass song. But yeah, Stephen Perkins on drums is also from Jane's Addiction.
Cool. Yeah,
So
I don't know. You've shown me a couple of their songs in passing, but I don't think I've ever sat down with any of their songs.
well, why don't we go ahead and get to it? Do you have any expectations here? Are you already
I'm getting like a 90s vibe.
93 is when it came out, so
So I'm expecting some like a little alternative music. So like a little bit of rock, maybe a little bit of funk, maybe a little bit of like some weirdness. So that's my expectations, but I'm not going to go into this album with any other really like thoughts.
all right, well, let's get to it. All right, so the album begins with Sadness. Are you ready, Rico?
Yes. Okay, very 90s production like I suspected. Not loving the production on the guitars, but I like the drums and bass. Like they're very washy. They're kind of like hard to hear. The bass is like very up front in the mix, and the drums. There's one in that drum fill. There's like one section where it sounds like a bongo or something. Okay, some like Avery, almost like wah. Or what's the? There's a tone. I can't think of what it is.
Like Ottawa?
Ottawa, maybe? Ottawa, like the Ottawa Senators. It's weird. It's like one half of the progression is like happy, and then another is like unhinged. It's kind of like "Are You Ready?" a little from the hip album we just did. I'm pretty sure the song is like in the perspective of like a cult. All right, that was interesting. I liked a lot of what I heard.
Okay, better than I thought. All right.
My least favorite part was the production. The song kind of sounded far away in some sections. The guitar, maybe just because the guitar was there for more like broad brushstrokes as opposed to like to me the lead was like really the drums and the bass, which I dug. But like the guitar was just like not as essential as like a lot of other bands we listen to. But so I'm curious for the rest of the album if the guitar is going to take more of a lead or if it's going to be, almost kind of like what you said with the last Hip album where it was like less solos and less, more just kind of atmospheric stuff or just like the chord progression. Because this was just kind of basically playing like some strums and just kind of some layering kind of. Vocals, I don't listen to a lot of Jane's Addiction, so I don't think like the vocals will super interest me or like really like hook me. But I'm not super picky when it comes to vocals, so
That's what you say now, but
they're
we'll
right
see.
now on this song they're kind of a non-factor. I mean,
Okay.
I will say I like the intensity. The song seemed very manic, like lyrically and vocally. Like it, by the end of the song, he's like yelling about hating someone and loving someone. He sings about the devil and how much he wants a cloud. So, and the song's called Sadness. So, this kind of felt like him picking words that just kind of fit the feeling of the song. Because the song is a little manic. It is like kind of happy and then like kind of darker. So, it was a vibe. Yeah. So my only complaint was really that kind of the production. Because again, I didn't dislike the guitars. I just didn't like the way they sounded.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Strong start, then, it seems like. Not too bad.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, I think it's just badass to start out an album. You just start with the riff, and then you just yell, "I got the devil in me." Like, that's a pretty kick-ass way to start off an album. So, why don't we go ahead and move on to song 2, the aforementioned Porno for Pyros.
You literally told me that the album was in English earlier. Okay, this is that slap bass giving me some Chili Peppers vibes.
Oh, I didn't even realize you were talking about the lyrics that were visible. I didn't even pull them up yet. I thought you were just making a joke about the title being whacked.
Insane. What was that like David Lee Roth ad-lib? Still not loving the guitar sound, but I like what's being played. I just don't like the way it's like the tone or like the mix of it.
Interesting. Okay.
So far between this song and the last song, it's like straightforward verse and then a very groove-oriented chorus.
Okay.
Okay, first guitar solo of the album. Now this would remind me a little bit of Jane's Addiction, like Dave Navarro.
Yeah, I see that too. I actually think Dave's a really underrated guitarist. He's a personal fave.
Because you shout on every time I've played a song that has harmonica, I gotta do the same here.
Alright, but the songs you show me that with harmonica, they don't sound like this one.
I can tell you like that song more than the first one. Like this one sounded like it's probably one of your favorites on the album. I think I actually like the first one more.
I do like both. I do think they're both really good ones, some of the highlights from the album, but I see that for you, why?
Yeah, I mean, this one, like, lyrically, I don't even know if I want to touch it lyrically. Or the last one actually was kind of interesting. The first song had, like, some interesting lyrics, but this one that's kind of like, this one definitely was more, like I said, groove heavy. The highlight so far to me has been the bass playing and the drum and the guitars. So, the guitar solo was fire, but the rest of the song, the guitars and the vocals have been kind of a non-factor. Like, they're not weighing down the song, but it's almost like, it's kind of how sometimes I view the Chili Peppers, where it's like the highlights is the drumming and bass. The vocals are not the highlight. Although in the Chili Peppers, at least the one Frusciante's playing, that is also the highlight. So this is like if you listen to the Josh Klinghoffer album, where it's like the guitar's fine, it's just not doing a lot for me. You know?
I like Josh as a player. So
I do too, but it's like you're not going to get flashy most of the time. I decided I'm not going to go too much into the production of the album because it kind of sounds like Hater in a sense, where it's a little bit more like, not like, okay, this doesn't sound like a 10. This doesn't sound like a
Super Unknown down the outside.
super unknown. This doesn't sound like Nevermind. Like, this sounds a little bit more raw, a little bit more not as produced, which I think you could probably tell since you showed me some albums like Hater and probably some past albums. That's not my favorite production style.
You showed me Day for Night, damn it. Mejia is the next song, which I was trying to look it up real quick, and it sounds like it's Spanish for Messiah, or maybe like a surname for something. I don't really know. Don't hold me accountable for that, please.
Okay, bass heavy again, which I don't mind. I love me some bass. This sounds less Chili Peppers though. Like, I don't know if I can imagine Flea playing this. not be liking this.
Who said I was?
By that I meant because of the harmonica. Because I can see you jigging this bass line. Okay, fairly long intro. This kind of reminds me more of Jane's Addiction. Is that like a wah guitar on the left? Or was that the harmonica? Or the right, I mean the right.
I'll listen.
It was really fast. It was like... Wah.
Probably wah. There's a lot of wah. I'll say that on this album.
I don't know if this is the chorus or not, because this is the first time I'm hearing this section. If it is, I like it. It's kind of catchy. But again, the highlight is the bass and drums. The guitar, it's just, I feel like it's just there. Like, it's giving us the chords. Okay, but so, the guitar is mostly just here for that solos. Why did that remind me of, like, Cult of Personality for a second?
Yeah, just like the in-your-face shred, unapologetic. Hell yeah.
Like, I'm glad they came back to this section, which I'm now considering the chorus. Again, I really like the bass and the drumming. The guitar is just like not doing much for me until it comes in with the solo, which is so far 2 for 2 on solos. That was a fire solo.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page with the solos. Okay.
Yeah, like they're like I'm not gonna slag a in-your-face guitar solo. I don't need that on every song, so I am kind of hoping it's not like gonna be on every song. I hope we get some breaks, or I hope we get some different guitar playing. Because right now it's mostly just like some fat ass chords and then some space and then solo. Which, you know, I do think songs should have some space. Like we don't need someone strumming the guitar 24/7 on every song for it. Not every band. But yeah, I liked it. This definitely, from the little I know about Jane's Addiction, this kind of reminded me more of their music than the first 2 songs. But again, the bass and drums is what kind of did it for me for the song. I did like the vocal melody more on this song. And this one lyrically, I feel like it's more like the opening song Sadness, where it's kind of like he's shouting kind of random things that he knows what he's talking about, but us as the listeners don't. And I'm okay with it. Like, I mean, a lot of this gore stuff is kind of like that too on our first listen. So yeah, I like this one. Listen. This one actually might be my favorite so far of the 3.
Next up, we have track number 4, Cursed Female. This is the intro I was trying to apologize for.
You can never give me bullshit on harmonicas or accordions ever again. And this one's a little bit more atmospheric. Okay, the guitars are doing something a lot more interesting already.
Okay.
Like some feedback, kind of. So far, my favorite production.
Okay.
And my favorite guitar playing so far. Like, yeah, he's still playing some chords, but he's doing some little, like, chugging, like, different rhythms. They're giving me shades of that syncopation from the Dark Canuck that you liked.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to know what the meaning of the song is based off some of these lyrics.
I really don't either.
I'm going to say here, first song where I would have been okay if this was instrumental.
Really?
Yeah, the vocal melody isn't hooking me. Okay, so taking the harmonica out of it, because the harmonica was like a personal choice that they thought would be cool, which to me
not the worst harmonica, but not needed at all.
Well, because, see, if it's like a classic rock song or something, or a folk song and you harmonica, like, you might not like it because it's stereotypical and boring, but, like, it fits. This is one of harmonicas where it's like, they're doing it, like, actually, it's kind of a cursed harmonica, like.
Hey, they sauced it up, though. There's, like, a bunch of effects on it, like, I guess. I'm glad it's not just straight up harmonica. They at least try to do something with it, but not really clicking.
So, taking that aside, so far, my favorite track, guitar-wise, still kind of playing just the chords, but there were some interesting things like some feedback, some atmospheric sounds, different rhythms. Song definitely kind of had more of a straightforward progression, because I feel like it was mostly just that main riff and then the syncopated parts with like the drums, like the dun dun dun, which was cool. I enjoyed that. But it had a good groove. Like you said, it did kind of give shades of like some of the Tragically Hip we've done on that podcast recently. Like I mentioned 700 Foot Ceiling from Trouble at the Hen House, or maybe some of the Day for Night songs that are kind of darker, kind of brooding.
Yeah, kind of like those jam songs. You kind of have like a texture, like a vibe you got, and you just kind of jam it out, and that's like the appeal.
It really reminded me of the verse of 700 Foot Ceiling where he's like, "Let's go to the park." That said, my least favorite part of the song, besides harmonica, was actually the vocals. Like on this song, he just sounded like he was just more like, "Yeah, man." Like I feel like I would be okay with Scott from STP doing it, but I'm not for some reason okay with him doing it here, Mr.
You don't know him like that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I actually really like how he says the main part, like "cursed to be born, beautiful, poor, and female. There's none that suffer more." Just like the way he says it, I think is kind of kick ass too. So, all right, well, why don't we move to the next song called "Cursed Male"?
Are you joking?
Does it look like I'm joking?
Different vibe. Why did the cursed female have to have the devil music and this one is like chill?
He's got the devil in him, bro. You already said it.
Okay, this is giving me One Hot Minute vibes. Like
hell yeah.
Deep kick or some shit. Because we were going like a really like 90s alternative, and then this is like a tempo change? Or like double time? Okay, I like that lyric. That lyric actually kind of makes sense and is really still relevant today. I feel like the vocal melody and even just the chords, very 90s. So this giving me like some shades of like Third Eye Blind and like Blind Melon, like very 90s band.
I was gonna say Blind Melon, yeah. Like, I could see that. When you're talking about the vocal melody and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, another cool guitar solo. He'd be popping that bass.
Cursed Male, what you think? Better than Cursed Female?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Better than Cursed Female.
Okay.
It's on a first listen, it's a little harder to digest because it's like all over the place. But that usually will be a good thing later on. Like on a first listen, it's maybe like, whoa, pretty abrasive, but I'm sure on like my third listen, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is a highlight on the album. I guess off the bat, I just will say like the vocals are like, he's sounding a little whiny to me, but this song, there's sections where he goes a while without singing. There's more instrumental sections, which I enjoy. And I will say, I actually do like these lyrics. I like the fact that he's singing about like, I guess a cursed male is some rich guy who is too old and stuck up to do anything with all the money that he has.
If I had to compare it to the song that you and I both know, kind of makes me think maybe like Soon Forget from Pearl Jam.
Yeah, I can see that.
Definitely different direction by 100%.
Yeah, I mean, my still favorite part was the solo bit right before they went back to that double time feel.
Right.
But that's fine. I mean, there's going to be some bands and stuff where it's like the guitar work is like more flashy during a solo section, you know. This does seem like one of those 90s bands where the bass and drums seem to be like kind of the star.
Which I don't mind that. I do like kind of bands like that. So next song up is the big single, Pets. So this is probably the one I did show you.
Yeah, I think that Pets sounds familiar, the title.
Pet Sounds, yes, love that too.
No, I didn't say Pet Sound. Oh,
You said,
I think I
Pet
did
sounds
technically.
familiar. I got you there. Roll back the footage.
That Pet sounds familiar.
Okay, this is where I have to edit in like the replay. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do it. It'll take me 20 minutes to learn it on Google, but I'll do it.
All right. Pets.
This gives me like MTV Unplugged vibes. Does this remind me of like an Alice in Chains song? Was that a little, speaking of Pet Sounds, was that a little Brian-ass vocal melody there? Ironically, this is his best vocal work so far, in my opinion.
Great performance.
I wonder who will make great pets for, like aliens? Another species? I will say this guitar solo feels more earned because I was enjoying what was being played in the rest of the song, which is this like gentle guitar strumming, different tone. I'm sure this probably makes it in your top 10 Ivy songs of all time. Wait, I gotta bring up the new slang of the podcast. We are now at the chorus ad nauseum. So I do vaguely remember, we did talk about how there was one song that you showed me and you were trying to gaslight me and say that you didn't, but clearly...
Well, you made it sound like I was showing you multiple songs from the band.
I'm just saying there was at least one you showed me and it was definitely this one.
Okay, that does make sense.
I mean, the reason that this is, you said like the biggest song or like the single from the album is clearly because this is the best song on the album. So far. I haven't heard the next 6 or however many songs left, but...
I mean, Chet, he's right.
I mean, like, yeah, like, because this is, like, the most dynamic song. Like, I mean, I guess maybe it's only dynamic because it's different than the rest of the songs, where it's, like, we get some, like, acoustic or, like, clean guitar, and we get some more, like, soothing chords. It's a little bit more laid back. It's a little bit more chill and vibey, but it still has that, like, kind of 90s production, but also, so far, the best production, in my opinion, on the album. Also, Mr. Perry's best vocal performance, in my opinion, on the album.
Great performance.
Maybe he gets a little up there during the chorus when he's repeating it, like in that kind of almost whiny zone for me. But
perfect.
And like the most like thought-provoking lyrics so far, probably, or the most unique. Like I did like Cursed Male, but this one is more kind of like. I mean, the first verse I feel like is a little out of place, but I do like from there on out where he's like singing about Martians and dinosaurs and like we'll make good pets. And I was asking like, okay, who are we going to be pets for? Like obviously like dogs and cats are pets for humans, but who would humans be pets for? You know, I'll be shocked if there's a song I like more than this one.
Track 7, Bad Shit.
Okay, so we're kind of back to that production from the first couple songs. The guitar seems further away than it should be. This time, though, the bass is just kind of copying the guitar. So the bass is actually not so much the lead. The guitar is actually the lead. I will say this riff kind of sounds like something that you would do at soundcheck and just kind of fuck around with your band.
Yeah.
Or as you put it last week, you're playing this drunk at the end of rehearsal.
Exactly, yeah.
Are we gonna slow down? No. Oh, we did. Even though he said we didn't. He lied. Okay, more wah solo. Maybe a little bit more of a bullshit solo, though, than the last couple.
Dude, it sounds like his guitar's vomiting.
Okay, so that one was fun. I don't think technically it's nearly as good as some of the first songs on the album.
Any of the other songs?
Like Sad. No, I'm just saying I think it's less impressive than like Sad. Or
Sadness.
Sadness, or even like the title track. But I kind of like it. I definitely like it more than the title track, and I like it more than
Really?
like Cursed Female, yeah. I will say
I kind of
like,
put this one with Mejia. That's how you say it.
this was more memorable to me. The lyrics and the vocals, again, this is kind of like a no-shower. Like what is he singing about? Like these lyrics are so random and whatnot. But the music element was fun. Again, it's one of those riffs where it's like, is it impressive? No. Is it fun? And do they groove to it? Yeah.
My favorite part is honestly just the beginning, where like the riff starts and it's just really obnoxious, and he's just like, got some bad shit.
No, my favorite part was the halftime slow down moment. Especially because he was saying, I'm not slowing down. I ain't slowing down. And then it's like, no, you guys are technically slowing down. You guys are literally slowing down.
Contrary to popular belief,
Yeah.
you have a slowdown.
First you gaslight me, and now he's gaslighting me.
Dude, you can't win, bro. God. All right. Well, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Packin' 25. What do you think we're gonna get for this track? What do you think?
Well, from the title, it sounds like he's packing some sort of weapon. So I think we're gonna get like a I feel like we're gonna get a kind of faster, funkier song. Even though that's kind of what
We
this
just
one
got a faster funky song.
I know, but I was about to say we're gonna go back into like the Pets sound. Damn it! Why did I...
He did it himself. Let's go 2 for 2.
But we're kind of back to like Cursed Female a little bit with like the kind of eerie kind of sound, the progression.
Yeah, kind of like the scale. Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't far off with the funk. This is just not
You're right,
fast.
you're right.
This isn't fast funk. So you're telling me some guy he didn't know just said something like under his breath, and then the guy's like, "You know I pack, right? You know I carry, right?" Okay, that was a sick bass fill. Back to Wah. I think this guy only knows Wah.
Yeah, people give Kirk Hammett a hard time, bro.
Kind of a messy song though. There's a lot of like, there's a lot, not messy, but there's like a lot going on. Like drums are going crazy, the bass is going crazy, the vocals are going crazy. But now we settle down again. Because his voice, at least on this album to me, reminds me of the very high nasally section of Scott's vocals from
Yeah,
STP.
I can see that.
Maybe the most interesting song lyrically on the album, because this unhinged character, like, he's minding his own business. He's getting coffee. He shaves and combs his hair, and then like passes a guy on the street, and I don't know, maybe the guy just says like hello in passing or whatever, or excuse me, and then dude's like, let me just whip out my 25, which, as someone who knows nothing about guns, I assume is a gun, and then basically says like, yeah, why not be the hero? Like, what's the line from Dirty Harry? You feel lucky, punk? Do you? he's like asking him to do something so that he could shoot him in self-defense and kill him. Like crazy lyrics, but because they're so over the top, I kind of liked them actually.
All right, let's go to our next song titled Black Girlfriend. We have 3 more songs on this album.
So kind of our second slowest song besides Pets so far on the album. By that too, I mean like most laid back. We got kind of like a swing going on in the drums.
Yeah. I will say, this song, and I believe it was like the title track, talk about riots, which apparently is referencing the 1992 Los Angeles riots. I don't know much of those.
I know, I do. I assume that's, well, I missed the other song that mentioned riots, but this song, especially with the title Black Girlfriend, I knew exactly what Ryan C was referencing.
Yeah, I'm out of the loop, which is my fault. Apologies.
So I like his vocals are more laid back, and I like there was some vocal layering. Like, I don't know if it was his vocals or another band member's backing vocals. But I don't love the notes he's choosing for some of the leads and his vocals.
Really?
That chord reminded me of STP.
Okay. I was thinking the chords are kind of interesting there.
So not only do we get a tempo change and just a mood change, but the dreaded harmonica is back. Okay. This is one of those other songs where it's all over the place. Because look we're back to the intro. Mixed bag song for me.
Why don't we start with the good?
So the good would be that I did like when it changed during the, what I will call the more rock funky bit. And I actually do like the main progression of the song. So like how the song started and ended, that kind of the swing, the more gentle. I like the fact that the song was more gentle vocally and musically. Some cool bass fills. And it was more dynamic than maybe some of the first couple songs on the album. I get where he was going with the lyrics. I'm very curious what other people would think of these lyrics.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Like,
I'm not really talking about him just because I don't really know what he's talking about.
See,
like,
I
know
know
the riots.
I know what he's
that there was...
like. I mean, I feel like there was a stigma after the riots and just like race in general, where like you had people who they felt like they were so progressive. They were like he's saying like I specifically want a black girlfriend, which I feel like is someone who's like saying I'm so progressive that like I would date someone that's not the same race as me. But I feel like it's almost insensitive to black people to go like, oh, you want to date me just because I'm black? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, and like the something that I guess I am kind of thinking that too when I hear it, because when he sings it, he just says it's so kind of happy, kind of jolly, like it's, you know, no big deal. But then he's talking about the riots.
But then it's like in the middle too, he's like singing like, can you braid my hair? And that also is like, that to me reminds me of like when white people get like dreads and stuff.
Right, Axl Rose.
To be fair, he could be singing through a character where...
Oh, there's no way he's not singing through a character.
I know, but it's like, this song, it's hard to tell how much sarcasm there is.
These titles just get crazier. String of titles, Bad Shit, Packin' 25, Black Girlfriend, and the song we're on now, Blood Rag.
Okay, this is gonna be not automatic. This is like immediately giving me Too Many Puppies Primus vibes.
Okay.
Very sporadic rhythm section.
This is the spaciest wah we've heard yet.
What do you think I think about this song so far?
You probably think this is just like such like a fuck off song. Like it's just kind of like we're gonna do whatever we want, but it's not really that. You're like, where's the song?
Not so much that, just more so like this just isn't my style. Like if you said you liked it, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm sure if I said I didn't love it, you wouldn't be surprised at that. But here we are.
Ad nauseum's not in my vocabulary here today.
So you showed your cards. You just said you think this is a fuck off song.
I'm not really into it.
Okay, so this is your least favorite, you would say.
To be fair, I've heard this song more than you have. Like, I think this is a song that's like, oh, okay, it's kind of interesting. We're doing this little bass thing. We're just kind of like making noise or whatever. But I mean, I don't think there's a lot of replay factor in there.
They should have done like a Pearl Jam where they're like Vitology, where they're like they make this a 20-second interlude track.
Yeah, instead of like presenting it like a full song.
Yeah, I mean it's still only like 3.5 minutes, but it's like they could have made this like a interlude type thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't expect. I don't think we should overthink this song. But initial thoughts, I think kind of you covered it. But anything to add?
No, just like. You might like the song if you like kind of more sinister sounds and if you like that kind of the harder tones of like a Primus song that is more like heavy than like funky.
And I am a Primus guy, by the way, so I don't think I'm being...
Yeah, I bring up Primus because of you, not because I listen to Primus on my own time. At least not yet.
Not yet. When we give you that taste of the sampler, the Primus sampler, bro,
yeah.
You'll be a changed man. Wrap up. All right. Final track, Orgasm.
Okay, a chill intro, but it does feel like it maybe could build. Kind of giving me shades of like a press play. This sounds like if Pearl Jam played Master/Slave in a major key. The bass and drums especially, but more happy sounding.
It sounds like if Pearl Jam popped like a pack of Benadryl and then played WMA.
I mean, this is kind of like the reason I call it Master/Slave because this just sounds kind of like a jam more than a song.
Yeah.
And this sounds like them jamming, and then Mr. Perry is like, I'm just going to kind of ad-lib over the song. This is the first time on the album where I kind of wish, well, maybe besides the last song, where I kind of wish the bass started doing something else. Because this is just like the same kind of... Like I feel like the only reason you would like this more than something off that last Spoon album you listened to is because the guitars doing more interesting stuff. But like, come on, like, you're not telling me that I Saw the Light in this song don't just play the same things for the whole song. But not, I mean, as much as I always say I like an album to close strong, and that for me usually means more energetic, more direct, I do feel like not every album needs to end that way. Like, there are some really cool album closers that are more subdued, like Indifference from Pearl Jam. I think that's a cool closer, and that's more subdued. That's more like, I wonder if this album could be resequenced. I haven't done one in a while.
Oh.
Because I already have a controversial take.
That this should have been an EP.
No, that
Thank God. Okay.
Pets should have ended the album.
I think it needs to be longer if you're gonna end it. You need to sound eternal if you're gonna end it with that.
Okay. Add Pets to the end, and then have this as a hidden track, but like cut it in half. Actually, only make it like a minute and a half long.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's an alright vibe. Like, it just kind of fits the album and stuff. It's just It just seems a little bit long in the tooth or whatever they say.
Is that what they say?
That is what they say. All right. Long in the tooth means rather old, so I guess that's not even like what it means. Fucking hell. Okay.
But it will be interesting to see if any of the songs grow, if any of the songs shrink.
I think there's potential for these songs to grow and shrink, which I don't think has been true for the last couple albums I've given you.
Let me listen to this album a couple more times, and then
try a new sequence on it. I'd be curious.
I'll see if maybe
I think the album
take a
opens
song
perfectly,
off
though.
and
First two
change
songs
some
are great
around. Yeah. So we'll be back in a couple of days, and I'll let you know what I think of this album even more.
Let me know. All right, we are back. Rico, have you been listening to Porno For Pyros?
Yes, I have. Exclusively listening to it while playing on my new PlayStation 5 that I got for my birthday.
Hell yeah, you're playing the hell out of Balatro.
Yes. Balatro, Rocket League, Madden, Grand Theft Auto.
And we're getting you into it.
Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. And a little Gang Beast to throw in there.
Yeah, Gang Beast is always just
stupid fun. People didn't click on this video to listen to us talk about video games. Although that would be a really cool second channel if we created that.
Yeah, if only we just I don't know, played more video games. So
I know more about gaming than you do.
I feel like I know more.
I know your voice went really high pitched there. That means you're lying.
I don't know if that's true. I think I was just shocked that you would say that. All right. How many times did you listen to this album?
I gave this at least another 3 listens.
Okay.
3, and then like I definitely listened to it where I didn't listen to it in order. I kind of picked songs out.
Kind of spot listing.
And I guess
did you do a resequence?
No, because
Damn.
I didn't do a resequence because I can't remember why I mentioned it because I haven't edited this episode yet up to this point.
Thought you should close on Pets.
Oh, that's right. I do think the closing track on this album ends the album appropriately. And I do think Pets, here's the thing. I think a lot of closing tracks, can you think of many closing tracks that were like lead singles or big hits from albums?
I don't know if I can even think of one. I'm
sure if I thought hard enough, I could think of one, but yeah, that's the thing.
I'm gonna hit up Google for that.
And not like Pets is like a huge, like, I don't even know if Pets came close to being as big as any of the Jane's Addiction singles, but I don't think putting Pets in the end would be good just for the sake of, I feel like it would get lost. Not that I think every single should be front loaded on an album or whatever, or like right in the middle, but Pets on this album is kind of, it's like right in the middle of the album, basically. And I do think that's a good spot for it.
Riders on the Storm ends Morrison Hotel. There you go. Not Morrison Hotel.
Not more. I'm like, wait a minute.
I don't know why I said that. LA
that's the one Doors fact that I can fact check you on.
Please edit this out.
Okay.
I will shut up. Just play the go.
This album's interesting because I feel like it's a lot different than the last couple albums you've given me. Kind of like, okay, it's a little bit more interesting than Hater because when I listen to, and this is a good comparison, right? Because Hater, kind of a super group or kind of a side project, right? To like Soundgarden.
Some would disagree, like in the comments, but
yes, but But basically, that's what it is. They had one album, and then they had like another album, and then they disbanded, and they kind of back. You know, they're not like a Soundgarden, right? And this is kind of like a side project to Jane's Addiction, right? Or at least for Mr. Perry, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And when I listen to this one, I do feel like this is a more solid album than Hater. Hater seems like a fun project where they weren't going for like someone else in the comments said, like, it has kind of a garage rock, more raw sound.
Yeah.
Where this album doesn't feel like that. Now, this album does for sure give me really shades of 90s bands like Jane's Addiction. A couple songs remind me of a little bit of Pearl Jam even, and then like Chili Peppers. And, you know, I get those 90s vibes from this album. That said, this album, like, it's either like I really liked the songs or I didn't. There wasn't a lot of in between. Like, so for example, I really like Cursed Male, but I did not like Cursed Female. I really liked, obviously Pets was my favorite song, but I did not like Blood Rag. I like
Blood Rag's my least favorite by far.
Yeah. I liked the and then okay, I'll say this too. Then I like parts of some songs. So like Black Girlfriend, I really dig the music. It actually kind of reminds me of a slower 90s Pearl Jam song that would maybe be like a B-side. I don't know, like it doesn't like not a specific song, but it kind of gives me that vibe. I don't like the lyrics. I get what he was going for with the lyrics, but
maybe execution could have been a little better.
And then another song where I liked parts and didn't like parts. I really like the lyrics. Maybe one of my favorite lyrics on the whole album is Packing 25. But the music, I found it a little forgettable. So
yeah,
another song,
I could see that.
And kind of same for the closing track. But the opposite. I really like the music. Don't really care for the lyrics.
What there is of the lyrics.
Yeah, there is some lyrics though. And then the same for the title track. But the title track's a little different. Title track, I really like the chorus. But the verse to me also like a little forgettable, which I know you found surprising because I think you mentioned that the title track is one of your favorites on the album.
Yeah, I mean, the chorus is the highlight of that song. That's an awesome chorus.
Yeah, and I will say the songs that are the more energetic, faster paced songs do have good grooves. The title track being one of the ones that gives me like really 90s vibes, you know, almost like One a Hot Minute, you know, which I understand Dave Navarro is not on this album, but for some reason it gives me similar shades.
Yeah.
Not title track, opening track, Sadness, still one that I really enjoy. How do you pronounce track 3? I think I pronounced it wrong last time, and
oh god, Meha?
Miha?
No, I don't think it's Miha. I'll look it up.
Maja?
Did you just say Mahjong?
The third track, I do think has the best guitar bit on the whole album. That guitar solo.
Oh yeah. I could see that.
I think that was like one of because one of my complaints I remember in the reaction was
the guitar production.
I didn't love. I will say when I'm listening to the album in the background, which was your suggestion, by the way, I cared less about the guitar production. Like it didn't really change my views on the album for me. I guess what did change my views on the album were just when I was to sit down and listen to some songs, there's only a couple that like I feel like on this album, I'm going to have some songs that I would put on a playlist. Now, this is an album I will revisit the whole album, but when I just need something really different and when it is more background, as opposed to like, I'm not sitting down with this album like I did with Like Grenades from Incubus, right? Or Tiny Music from STP, you know, those albums you gave me that are among some of my favorites. But like on this album, like Pets, that is a, you know, fantastic song. Like
that was a 10 out of 10 song.
Yeah, it's chill, great tones.
I think it's a fantastic vocal performance. I know you were a little iffy with him on vocals.
I guess I decided I'm indifferent. There are some songs where he's maybe a little screechy or a little like the performance itself is just a little over the top, but I'm indifferent, which for me, that's not a bad thing because I listen to a lot of singers that I do not think are good vocalists. You know, like, well, I mean that's not true. I guess I listen to a lot of singers that a lot of people could maybe complain about their vocals.
Yeah, I was like, you don't gotta throw some strays out here right now.
No, I'm just saying like some people hate Tom Petty's vocals, some people hate Bruce Springsteen's vocals, Bob Dylan, some people even hate Eddie Vedder's vocals because they think he's just mumbling half the time, right? But with Mr. Perry here, I'm just kind of indifferent. Like, I will say they are really good on a song like Pets, right? Or even like the closing track, like or like you said, Black Girlfriend, like they're smooth. But a lot of the more upbeat songs, like the title track, you know, or like Bad Shit, they do get a little over the top for me. But I got the devil in me. Yeah,
I still love it. I love it.
At the end of the day, I'm a little bit more indifferent. But yeah, like Pets, I would definitely add to playlist. I think Sadness and the title track I would add to playlist. Songs like the closing track and Black Girlfriend, I feel like I would, but not on a playlist that I would play publicly.
They only say it one time in the closing track.
I know, but still.
They only say it one time.
I know.
Yeah, it would be a little weird to put Black Girlfriend on a playlist, especially because you're not actually listening that closely to the lyrics if it's on a playlist, you know?
But yeah, so overall, I did enjoy this album. It was kind of, I think in a way, it was like a similar vibe to Hater. I think it was like a better Hater type album, if that makes sense.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
I know, because I know you see them
earlier,
very different.
Yeah, I think what you said earlier was a good comparison. That maybe this is a little bit more, like this is much more high production, right?
Yeah.
Like this sounds like an actual studio. These takes are very polished. Where Hater was much more fun, definitely more side project than Supergroup. Even though I think for fun I'll call it a supergroup.
Yeah.
But do you think? I guess my last question for you. I am glad that you enjoyed at least parts of it. You didn't hate it, which is good. Always a fan when someone doesn't hate something I show them. Do you think this is one of those albums where when you listen to other music, like maybe music you've been listening to around the time, it maybe makes you hear it a little different, or maybe it's just kind of refreshing? Was this a good palate cleanser?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a real. It is kind of like when I listen. Okay, I feel like when I listen to One Hot Minute, it sounds so different than every other Chili Peppers album, and I wouldn't put it in. I know some like fans like you would put it in like your top 3.
Very
right?
few would, but I love it.
But I feel like some hardcore Chili Pepper fans would put it like top 3, like you.
Maybe, I don't know.
And it's like when I listen to that album, it sounds like of its time, but like in a good way. And I feel like there's not, even though I am comparing the two together, I feel like a lot of the other albums I listen to don't sound like that.
Right.
If that makes sense. So yeah, like this doesn't sound anything like, I mean, even though I even compared it to Pearl Jam, it only really sounds like some songs off like 10. Like it doesn't sound like anything past 10, right? And this doesn't sound anything close to like the singer-songwriter music I listen to, like Petty or Springsteen, and sounds really different than other 90s bands I listen to, like Counting Crows, or even like, you know, some of the 90s Wilco albums and whatnot. So yeah, like I do feel like this is like a nice palate cleanser. So that's why I would put this album on sparingly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I listen to it a lot, I could get burnt out really quick, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get you. I think that is fair. I think your reaction was what I was hoping for, what I was kind of expecting. More on the positive expectations, you know.
Yeah.
Now the question is, would I give you more Porno For Pyros? I think they have like 2 other main albums. Oh, maybe just one. I thought they had 2 more, but I probably would. I wouldn't be in a rush to do it. Yeah,
because it sounds like this is an album you're really into, but maybe not like the whole band, you know?
Well, they don't have a lot of stuff out. I do like the other album. I have heard it. I just don't have the songs as internalized. I just think this particular album is just a little bit more standout. Like, it does have such a strong sound. Does have just a lot of 90s energy. But, yeah, you know, we'll see. We'll get there. I won't put any pressure on giving you another one yet. But cool.
Well, yeah. Drop us a comment if you've heard this album and let us know what you think of it, what your favorite songs are, and yeah, let us know if you think Tony should give me their next album. And until next time, we hope you take care, and you'll be hearing from us soon. Bye-bye.